Namaste everyone. Welcome to another episode of Ayurveda, where it's all about Ayurvedic health and Ayurvedic learning. In Ayurveda, doshas are very important. We consider doshas in every part of our lifestyle, whether it's eating, whether it's sleeping, or whether it's active and running or exercising. So today I'll be taking help from my father, who is an Ayurvedic Vaidya. Let us learn about these three doshas. What is Vata dosha, Papa?
Vata, the word meaning Krishna, comes from the wind. Vayu means wind. So this dosha is a representation or extension of the universal wind that is out there. So you can imagine what all the wind can do. What does the wind do? Wind?
Wind is moving, wind is
Yes,
fast.
wind is moving, wind is not stable. So wind is moving. Why is it moving? Because it doesn't have a lot of stability and also mass, right? If it is something has a mass, then it will settle down. But because this doesn't have any mass, so it just moves. So it's light. It's also cold. It's dry. And it is something like what Ayurveda says, rough. So things in these respects, the physical qualities is what Ayurveda says is this energy called Vata. And what does it do? It governs everything. That's why it's so important, right? No matter what you do in terms of activity, we say it's all because of Vata.
It makes sense, but can you explain more in detail?
Yes, of course. So when we talk about these qualities, these are the qualities that work with this energy to influence our bodies. So let's say if my Vata is normal, then I can communicate very clearly. My tongue moves in all directions in my mouth and the words come out very clearly.
So basically in Vata you're not able to control yourself as much as the other way.
That's true if Vata goes out of balance. If these qualities, the mobile quality, if it increases, for example, when I'm talking, if the mobile quality of Vata is increased, then I may start stuttering and my words may not come out so clearly.
So it'd be like kind of
Jittery movement, too much of movement, uncontrolled movement, and thoughts also go in all directions because thoughts are moving, right? So Vata is this biosystem or bioenergy that is responsible for movement. And movement, what are movements? Movement of our heart pumping, movement of our digestive system, movement of our eyes, movement of our limbs. Everything that we are moving is done by Vata. So Vata is equal to movement. If Vata is high, then the movement is high.
I have one question.
Yes.
When does Vata form?
Oh wow. Vata gets formed right when we are conceived. So when the mother is carrying the baby, Vata is one of the necessary energies that will be seen to be influencing us to grow, because when we are growing there's a movement, a growth, right? So all that is done by Vata.
Okay, so Vata is movement.
Yes. And think about like this. Vata is also responsible for our activity, like you were saying, movement in the sense of exercise. Exercise is made possible by Vata. If Vata is not good, then we'll not be able to move efficiently, right? So Vata is very important. Has what qualities? You tell me. It's cold,
Lightweight,
light, fast moving, dry,
dry,
minute, Minute in the sense, this is another thing about Vata. It gets into all the smaller places. It can go into bone very quickly. It can go into nerve system quickly. Because these Vata, Pitta, Kapha, these three energies that we are talking, they have complete access to the body. So what they do is, depending on what we eat, they take the qualities from the food and either they increase or reduce.
And what form is Vata in when it enters into our body?
It is made from two elements. Can you guess the two elements that make Vata?
Wind and space.
Very good. That is, air and space are the two elements that make it. So anywhere there is air and space, Vata gets automatically created. When there's no room for air and space, Vata gets condensed.
Is this an example? When we go into like cold places where it's snowing, such as New York, and when it starts snowing and we're wearing a half-sleeve T-shirt, we'll be shaking like this. Is this an activated Vata?
Very good. That's a great analysis, Krishna. So when we go into cold, the cold quality comes into the body and then it increases the Vata, the movement energy or movement biosystem. And when it increases, it doesn't just come with the cold, you feel cold, but also brings the movement, and then we start shivering, right? Shivering is the best example that you picked for Vata that is increased. Okay? So now you can think that bowel movements are normal because of Vata. Sleep and awakening is also normal because of Vata. So all this movement that is physiologically responsible is done by Vata energy. And a fascinating part, Krishna, is that when Vata is increased around us, like in the surrounding, in the nature, then that will bring in the increase of wind energy in our body. Let me tell you like this. So, did you know about circadian rhythms?
What is that?
Circadian rhythms are these fascinating, the flow, a natural flow that we are unaware of it, but it's happening. Like a day happens and the night comes, right? So there are certain changes in our body physiology that brings about change in the day and night
It's
functioning.
Like when we're in the day, we feel awake, and when we're in the night, we feel sleepy.
Yes, that is best obvious. But what we see is also the systems. Your circulatory system works differently when you sleep. Your respiratory system works differently when you sleep. There is a rhythm to it. So this is called circadian rhythm. So in circadian rhythms, what matters is the flow of the day, the flow of the season, etc., how they influence us. And Ayurveda said thousands of years ago that the wind that is outside can really influence us, and we need to balance with it so that you can achieve a great, healthy Vata flow in your body.
Now I learned a lot about Vata, which was very fascinating. Thank you, Papa.